Good morning, Unity. The theme this week is the power of yes. We have a wonderful guest speaker who's going to be speaking about that, and the music is oriented around getting past obstacles and going forward anyway. So this is an old song from the 50s by Frank Sinatra from a movie called Hole in the Head. It actually won an Oscar, believe it or not. It's called High Hopes. If you know it, sing along, okay? Next time you're found with your chin on the ground, there's a lot to be learned, so look around. Just what makes that little old ant think he'll move a rubber tree plant? And he knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant, but he's got high hopes. He's got high hopes. He's got high apple pie in the sky. Hope so anytime you're getting low, instead of letting go, just remember that ant. Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant. When troubles call and your back's to the wall, there's a lot to be learned. That wall could fall. Once there was a silly old ram, thought he'd punch a hole in a dam. No one could down that ram scram. He kept butting that dam, but he had high hopes. He had high hopes. He had high apple pie in the sky. Hope. So anytime you're feeling bad, instead of feeling sad, just remember that ram. Oops, there goes another billion goddamn. Problem's just a toy balloon. They'll be bursted soon. They're just bound to go pop. Oops, there goes another problem. Kerplunk. There goes another problem. Oops, there goes another problem. Kerplunk.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Isn't it a beautiful last day of summer? I shouldn't have said that way. I should have said, isn't it almost the first day of fall? How's that better? Okay. Well, so glad to be here this morning. My name is Donna Columbell. I am a prayer chaplain here at Unity of Gaithersburg and also on the platform. Since Reverend Cheryl is going to be away for the next couple of Sundays, I have the privilege of welcoming you. And I want to welcome those viewers on YouTube as well. We're so glad to have you here this morning. Okay, well, I just want to say a couple of things to you that we can begin probably with our opening prayer, just to get centered in this place right here and right now. And if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. Just sit a little bit more comfortably in your seat. Feel your body relaxing. Knowing that you are here, you have arrived in this moment. We're here today to share our love with each other, to share our light, to be a beacon in the world and in this community. We come together to open ourselves to the possibilities for this day. are centered and ready to receive the gifts that are here for us and to be a gift to others. We are in this loving community knowing that our love spreads out and comes back to us. And with this intention, we can say yes to whatever the world calls us to do. And know that we will be the light that we want to see in our community and beyond. We are so grateful, and we say thank you, thank you, thank you for the blessing and the light that we are. And so it is. Amen. Okay, well, we have the privilege of having a wonderful guest speaker with us this morning by the name of Ron Kartstetter. Ron retired from the federal service in 2016 to follow his leading into the ministry. Ron is a licensed Unity teacher and an ordination candidate in the Unity's field ministerial program. He serves on the staff at Unity of Fairfax as a community care coordinator. Ron is a lifelong truth student who has a passion for creating safe and sacred space to support other spiritual explorers in their awakening and unfoldment. Reverend Cheryl had the pleasure of teaching him in one of his first SEE classes, that's Spiritual Enrichment Education classes, and his last. We're really privileged to have him here. She says that you can expect an open heart and a truly loving spirit. So Ron, you want to stand just so that people see you? You'll get to hear him a little bit later. Thank you. Well, I want to welcome any newcomers that we have here today. So any newcomers, if you're here today for the first time, if you raise your hand, we have one of our ushers would love to come and give you one of our welcome packets. And if you fill out the card on the front of the welcome packet with your email address, we will be sure and add you to our newsletter, which comes out every Friday, and it's filled with lots of wonderful information about Unity and all of the things that are going on here. So we'd love to have you. Thank you. Okay. Well, why don't we join in a congregational song right now? And if you want to stand up and join us.
One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one life loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just want to shout. One life living as you and me, one life loving as you and me, one life loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one life loving as you and me, 'cause love is all there is.
Do you want to stand and greet your neighbors?
loving as you and me, 'cause love is all there is. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause love is all there is.
Good morning, Unity of Gaithersburg. Is summer still around? Yes, it is. I think everybody's at the beach today. Well, good morning. My name is Bill Sunderman, and this week's transformation opportunities are detailed in our community newsletter. You can receive next week's edition by sharing your email with us. Please pause now to completely silence your cell phone. Thank you. Well, let's drum together this coming Saturday from 7 to 9 right here in the sanctuary. Jeff Halverson and Neil Peacock will lead us in an evening of exploring rhythms from around the world. You can bring your own drum, or you can use an instrument that's already here, provided. This is great fun for you, your friends, and family. Offering for a love offering is $10. See you there. Hear ye, hear ye. If you want to see this community grow and prosper and feel you have talents and skills to share that will support that unfolding, then consider serving on the Board of Trustees here at Unity of Gaithersburg. If you would like to find out more, plan to attend an informational meeting on Sunday, September 29th, that's next Sunday, right after the service. Applications are at the back of the sanctuary. Please place completed applications in Reverend Cheryl's box no later than October the 6th. And our fall book study is fast approaching. For 6 weeks this fall, we will delve into the book, Conscious Living, Finding Joy in the Real World, by renowned author and teacher Gay Hendricks. This book will teach us how to overcome obstacles and fears in order to live more deeply empowered and fulfilled. Reverend Cheryl will lead the evening class on Wednesday, and Reverend Catherine Sunderman and licensed Unity teacher Bill Sunderman will lead a Sunday morning group. Check your bulletins for dates and times. Sign up in the back of the sanctuary if you plan to attend. And our next new member class is on the calendar. This class is for people who have been attending Unity of Gaithersburg and are now ready to commit to being a voting member. As a voting member, you'll be an active participant in the care and unfolding of this spiritual journey in this community. If this commitment speaks to you, join us Saturday, October the 19th from 10 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. Please sign up in the back of the sanctuary so we have supplies for you. And you know you're welcomed with open arms and hearts. And now, please center yourselves as we reflect together on today's daily word. The focus for today is freely express. Freely express. The affirmation, I freely express my yes to life. I'll say that again. I freely express my yes to life. I awaken a fountain of joy deep within my heart when I am willing to let go and say yes to life. I envision myself as an outlet of generous spirit and aliveness from this willingness and feel that energy moving within me, ready to express wherever I go and whatever I do. As I focus my attention on life's goodness and abundant flow, I notice how empowered I feel. I trust and put faith in the wisdom that guides me. I take risks and let go of fear. I interact kindly with strangers and feel our inherent connection. The negativity of the world may swirl around me, but I will not be moved. Each day presents me with opportunities to let go and let life flow. I freely express the yes I am to life's infinite abundance in all the ways it can be a blessing. And from Psalm 23, verse 6, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. And now let's prepare for meditation by singing, All Is Well.
As I close my eyes and the world disappears, I can feel my breath rise and fall. There's a light inside
Let there be a quiet time among us. With mind and heart, we tune into this time of meditation, allowing ourselves to arrive fully in this moment. And I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable, or to lower and soften your gaze as we take a deep and intentional community breath, knowing that there is nothing to do, nothing pulling our energy to the past or the future. Mind, body, and spirit relaxing into this moment. There's a passage in the Course in Miracles that reads, "Let go of all the trivial things that churn and bubble on the surface of your mind, and reach down below them to the kingdom of heaven. There is a place in you where there is perfect peace. There is a place in you where nothing is impossible. There is a place in you where the strength of God resides." We move more deeply into stillness, the rhythm of the breath calming the mind. And as the mind quiets, the body follows. And we remember that there is a safe place to rest, and that sacred sanctuary, the secret place of the Most High, lives within our being. The totality of being is within each one of us, always there, always present, just a breath away. We simply feel what it is like to consciously connect with the stillness of being. To go within to that changeless nature. It is a field of infinite potentiality where the heartbeat of the divine is pressing forth into creation. Let us rest for a moment in this heart space, free of all thoughts of lack or limitation. For in this space, there is no need to struggle or strive. Everything we need is right here. We allow gratitude to fill our awareness, to fill this moment as we affirm all that God is. I am. All that God is, I am. In the silence. In the silence. I invite you to take a deep community breath. It is in this heart space that we touch the kingdom of heaven, that we allow ourselves radical self-acceptance, loving kindness, and compassion, where we release thoughts of judgment, lack, and error, and we allow ourselves to fully rest authentically in our true nature, with a deep sense of wholeness, at home within our being and within the universe. This is what the world is calling for, calling out for the peace that is ours in this living sanctuary. And it is right here, present within every moment, in every space, freely available, accessible to all, right where we are, wherever we are. We live, move, and have our being in a field of infinite wonder, in a sea of spiritual support. May these moments of mindfulness carry us through moments of illusion into awakening. May they provide a firm foundation to meet each moment, and may our practice be of benefit to all. We take a deep community breath, grateful for this time to breathe together, and gently return your attention to this time and space. And as you are ready, I invite you to open your eyes to celebrate the gift of this day with a deeper awareness of Christ in you, your hope of glory. I behold the Christ you are, my friends. Namaste.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will be peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars.
Thank you for that beautiful and so appropriate lead-in. Perfect example of the synchronicity of spirit when we say yes, and how things all come together in our lives individually and collectively. It's a beautiful day in our consciousness. Amen? There is an Eric Butterworth quote that a field of grace seems to form around you when you commit your life to something that satisfies your soul. That's the power of yes and stepping into your truth. Field of grace, just so you know, for me. And I hope each of you know that same field of grace for yourselves as you step into your truth. So I've been humming a Daniel Nahmod song a lot lately, Get Ready My Soul. Do you know that song? Get ready my soul, I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready my soul. So since I'm hearing it inside, I'm thinking that I should extend that invitation to dive into each of you. So are you ready to dive in? To go deeper? To explore the power of yes? Great. Yes, great. That was your cue. So as we get started, just to acknowledge and to move beyond this, I want to share some of the questions or comments or concerns that are surfacing from my adverse ego as we explore the power of saying yes to the divine. I'm hearing things like, sounds dangerous. Who or what am I saying yes to? How can I say yes until I know exactly what I'm inviting into my life or stepping into? And then there's the classic, what if, and of course, play it safe. So if you are hearing any of those voices, I invite you to join me in gently and lovingly saying, thank you for sharing to our egos, as we move our attention to higher ground and explore how this creative yes of the divine mind could potentially express in and through our lives if we gave voice and feet to it. My friends, it is God in motion. We are God in motion. Amen? So just to clarify, this is not a blind yes. It is a yes carried by our power of faith. And what is our power of faith? It's our innate ability to live in positive expectancy, to center our attention in joyous anticipation, knowing that all is well, truly. For me, sometimes saying yes involves, not sometimes, a lot of the time, sometimes saying yes involves a willingness to walk in the mystery. And other times it's as simple as waking up on a Sunday morning and saying yes to that still small voice that says, come to Unity of Gaithersburg and join your loving energy with other like-minded spirits in co-creating the beloved community, which awakens, heals, and transforms lives far beyond these grounds. And so thank you for saying yes to that prompting this morning. It's good for us to be here. This saying yes is ultimately a decision for Christ, a decision to see ourselves in a new light, the light of the indwelling Christ, and of our own unique unity with and expression of God. It's the great decision to reach for the highest and to claim the divinity within us, and then the determination to act as if it were, as we grow into being the best Christ expression that we can be. It's about living our lives in alignment with Spirit. And why? Because I believe lives lived in that alignment are more meaningful, more exciting, more dynamic, and more joyful than any other way that we could choose to live our lives. And it's not because the Bible says so. It's not because our co-founders Myrtle and Charles Fillmore said so. It's because that's the experience. Our experience is that living our lives as close to alignment with Spirit as possible is what gives life meaning and energy and joy. And what's not to like about that? For me, this yes is an allowing. Be through me. Be through me. And this sense of my being one with the allness of God has to precede my doing, because for me, consciously or unconsciously, my doing flows from my being. And I want my expression, my life, to be the highest and best expression of my Christ self, of my divinity. And so how do we get to yes? That's the focus of my talk today. But first, a story. So there was a story from long ago and far away of a young monk in training, a postulant at an abbey, a spiritual explorer really, like us, who one day while in meditation pictured the master teacher Jesus sitting across from him. Taken somewhat by surprise, he thought, what a great gift and opportunity this was to connect with the master. Oh, after more than a moment of silence, the young monk said, Jesus, for so long I've wanted to talk with you. And now that you're here, I don't know what to say. And then after another long pause, during which crickets were heard, the story goes, Jesus looked at the young monk and said, friend, all that you need to say is yes. Not maybe, or I'll let you know, but yes. There was an audible gulp in the room. The conversation was not unfolding as the young man had expected. What he had thought would be a time of joyful connection had turned into a very simple but potentially heart-mind opening, expanding, transforming invitation from the master to follow, which the young man knew, without yet knowing the details, invited a very new, more expansive way of thinking and being than had been his experience up to that point. And so after what seemed like an eternal pause, the young man tentatively looked at Jesus with eyes slightly diverted and said, Jesus, I'll let you know. Well, the conversation, the meditation ended at this point. Jesus faded back into the ethers, and the young man walked out of the abbey for an afternoon of hiking around the beautiful grounds. Well, actually, if truth be told, it was more hiking and avoidance or denial of what was unfolding. Not sure that I'll let you know where that I'll let you know would lead, but knowing deep down that it would eventually lead him away from the Abbey. There was no judgment in this moment. It was all part of the discernment process, but there was room for soul searching. How would his life have unfolded if he had said yes or no? But maybe, I'll let you know. A flashing yellow light. Go to the first slide, please. Traffic signal. Yes, no, maybe. We'll check back with our young monk a little bit later, but I want us to take a moment to be with this traffic sign, something that we encounter many times a day that helps us navigate life through the DMV. And I'd suggest that we have an internal traffic signal that can be responded to from the level of our ego or our higher self. What are we saying yes to throughout the day? Well, it's estimated that we have between 40 and 60,000 thoughts each day. Many of them are repetitive, many are focused on the past or the future, and most of them are not true. And so how many of those thoughts are actually relevant? How many invite growth and expansion in our lives? How many of them are grounded in truth? It's an important question because whether from a low vibration or a high vibration, these thoughts have potential impact on our lives. They keep us stuck or they move us forward. And if they move us forward, they either do so with grace and ease or with lots of bumps and stalls and restarts. You are young or old according to the shape of your consciousness. You are rich or poor according to the shape of your consciousness. You are strong or weak according to the shape of your consciousness. You are capable or insufficient according to the shape of your consciousness. And so what thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and beliefs carry you? Together, these thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and beliefs make up your consciousness. And your consciousness is your life. Slide number 2, please. This is a quote by Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore. We should understand that we are not separate or insignificant, but the vital, important, integral part of a mighty whole. Yes? Yes? Our humanity is the degree to which we have given expression to our divinity. We are human in expression, but divine in creation and limitless in potentiality. But do we really live knowing that? What consciousness carries you? There is a quote from A Course in Miracles. All that is asked of you is to make room for truth. And what is truth? Well, for purposes of this lesson, I'll refer to Unity's 5 principles, which, while not a creed, are a summary of our guiding core beliefs, and which are universal. You can divide the 5 principles into 2 categories, foundational and operational. Principles 1 and 2 form the philosophical foundation of what we believe in Unity, and principles 3 through 5 are the practical application of our foundational belief. And so a quick review of those principles. Principle number 1, there is one presence, one power, God, good, in the universe and in my life. Let's breathe into that for a moment. There is one presence, one power, God, good, in the universe and in my life. Principle number 2, there is that of God and good expressing in me, through me, and as me. We are it. We might summarize these 2 principles with the affirmation, all that God is, I am. All that God is, I am. And then principles 3 through 5, how we stay centered in what we do with or how we embody this truth. Principle number 3, thoughts held in mind produce thoughts held in mind, which produce more thoughts held in mind, with which enough thought and feeling can potentially outpicture in our lives. And so what thoughts are you holding in mind? What are you saying yes to about yourselves, each other, and the world? Because every thought or feeling that maintains a seemingly permanent place in your consciousness, we have said yes to. We have affirmed them to be true, even when they are not. Principle number 4, consciously connecting with Source through meditation and prayer. Through meditation and prayer, we enhance our awareness of our fundamental oneness and connection with God-mind. We also access infinite supply of the divine, the creative power within and available to us. Do you have a meditation practice? You know, it can be as simple as closing your eyes for brief moments throughout the day and taking a deep and intentional breath and resting in stillness and allowing stillness to speak. You are never more essentially yourselves than when you are still. And affirmative prayer, which is telling ourselves the radical, wonderful truth of what is. The radical, wonderful truth of what is. All that God is, I am. An active affirmation is a declaring of truth and represents the yes action of the creative divine mind. Prayer and meditation are important tools for staying consciously connected with Source. And principle number 5, how can we use this truth to be a source of healing and transformation, first in our own lives, and then to be co-creators of a world that works for everyone? And so 5 principles, some tools, not rules, that we can use to help stay focused and connected to Source and in service to Source. A simple way of remembering these principles from Reverend Ellen Davenport: God is, I am, think it, pray it, live it. God is, I am, think it, pray it, live it. Yes? Does that resonate? So no no's or maybes. We're moving closer to a yes. Because any one of those choices, yes, no, maybe, is transformative. It's the level of vibration and therefore the outcome that differs. I am the vibration of God in action. I am the vibration of God in action. That's the vibration that we want to hold. That's the consciousness that we want to stay grounded in. And I don't know about you, but staying grounded in truth requires some vigilance on my part. It requires that daily practice, spiritual practice, to keep me centered. For me, prayer, meditation, hiking in nature, painting, writing, spiritual reading are all part of my spiritual practice. They're in my toolbox. There's a lot going on in here, and it's not all for my higher self. So sorting through that and focusing my energy on what's true is a daily round-the-clock work. I hope you have your own toolbox of spiritual practices that you can access in the moment as needed. Even if it's just remembering to stop and breathe and gently affirming something like, God is my all, I know no fear, for God and love and truth are here. These are words taken from Myrtle Fillmore's favorite poem, The Prayer of Faith. Next slide, please. Because there is this. This is a Rumi quote: complaint is only possible while living in the suburbs of God. So are we centered in God consciousness, or are we living in the suburbs of God? It's an important question because to be human is to be perpetually distracted. We typically aren't persons who live in habitual spiritual awareness, who occasionally get distracted. We're persons who live in habitual distraction, who occasionally become spiritually aware. We tend to be so preoccupied with the ordinary business of life that we forget to remember. And so it's a blessing to be able to come to a community like this to remind each other of our magnificence. In his book, Living Between Two Worlds, Joel Goldsmith writes, "You alone determine to what degree you will attain Christhood. If you wish to devote an hour to truth on Sunday, it will certainly benefit you to some measure. If you decide to devote an hour to truth every day, it will benefit you that much more. If you decide that during some part of every hour of every day, you will allow some truth to circulate in your consciousness, there will be much more harvest in your life. Next slide, please. So I don't know if you can see the image, but we've arrived at a fork in the road. And I suspect it's one of many, if you're anything like me. It's the moment of choice. You are the ceaseless flow of transcendent life. You are the ceaseless flow of transcendent life. But first, you must claim it. Every single second of every single day, each one of us is at choice. We can expand or we can contract. We can open up or close down. Spirit is expansive, but ego is limited in its own little world. What consciousness carries you? Next slide, please. This is a Charles Fillmore quote. "The truth you know is the truth you use, and all the rest is theory." And so how did our co-founders, Bertil and Charles Fillmore, embody or say yes to truth? This is a passage from the book The Story of Unity by James Dillard Freeman, which speaks of their grounding faith. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were a man and woman of faith. In the word faith is summed up the story of their life and works, and the story of unity. They did their works through faith. They soared beyond their works through faith. They were teachers through faith. They were healers through faith. They were builders through faith. They were overcomers through faith. Many, many times in the history of unity, they came to a place where it seemed that they could not go on, yet they went on through faith. They taught that God is a help in every need, and they prayed in this simple faith. Over and over again, when they were in need, they went to God to prove that what they taught is true, and that all they thought and wrote and did, they wrought through faith. Through faith, they turned to God in the beginning. Through faith, they healed their bodies. Through faith, they brought healing to others. Through faith, they founded unity. Through faith, they persevered in their idea when everything seemed to say that they were destined for failure. Through faith, they built a work that rings the world round with faith and prayer, helping people to understand and apply truth principles in daily living, helping people to realize that they have special capabilities and talents to unfold, helping people to realize that they are blessed, unique individuals, each one of a kind, with all prospects of success, health, joy, and happiness. They never lost faith. So I'd like to revisit our young monk in training and see where his journey has led him. If you remember, he met Jesus in a meditation, and his response when invited to follow, to live more audaciously from an awareness of his divine nature, was, "I'll let you know." That decision led him away from the security of the Abbey on a spiritual path that might be called the scenic route, with lots of twists and turns, many course corrections, loving and supportive encounters, and many more opportunities along the way to say yes, no, or maybe. And what he discovered was that in those times when he said yes to Spirit, he connected with that of God within. His consciousness expanded, fears dissolved, and the capacity to love expanded. And he grew in a deeper understanding of the truth of his being, along with an openness to being of service to Source in ways that he could not have imagined possible. His path eventually led him to a Unity Church, where he discovered the power within and made the connection that the secret place of the Most High, his heart space, was much like that abbey he had walked away from many years ago, a space within to connect with Source, a field of infinite potentiality, accessible within, anytime, and inviting expansion and inviting one into service. He still walks in the mystery much of the time, but he now walks with a knowing that he is one with the One. And now for the big reveal, if you haven't already figured it out. that not-so-young monk in training stands before you, here to share with you a bit of what life looks like on the other side of yes. What has saying yes accomplished in my life? It opens doors. It creates space for something new to unfold. It focuses my energy. It makes the most of every encounter. It stretches me beyond my willingness to be stretched. It enhances self-awareness. It's an adventure. And we discover things that all things are possible when we live at the speed of Christ consciousness. Slide number 6, please. Do you recognize the story in this painting? It's based on the story of the Annunciation in the first chapter of the Gospel of Luke, in which the angel Gabriel visits and announces to Mary that she will give birth to the Son of God. Her initial hesitation shifts to a yes, and her yes changes the world. Whether the story is true or not, the lesson holds true. Saying yes, be through me, to that of God within, has the power to open doors, to make a way where before there was no way, to awaken, to heal, to transform, to give birth to a greater reality. And so what is your potential yes? It could be as simple as saying hello to a stranger, exploring new employment, making a phone call to heal a relationship, taking a class to learn something new, teaching a class, getting more involved in sacred service here at Unity of Gaithersburg. I heard that there were some openings on the Board of Trustees. What creates space for your highest and best to express? What is your highest and best? If you're anything like me, we're not there yet. Marianne Williamson writes, "Because God is perfect, therefore the true self of every created being is perfect as well. That true self goes by many names. To some it is the Christ, to some the Buddha mind, to some the Shekinah, and so forth. The light of this true self cannot be altered, modified, or uncreated. Free will gives us the freedom to choose whether or not to express that self, but its light cannot be uncreated. It can only be unchosen. It can only be unchosen." So I think I'm going to stop there. I've shared a lot of words, and unless those words can be integrated into our life in some way, they're just words. So let's be still for just a moment, if you will. Breathing into our heart spaces. At the heart and root and foundation of you and of your life and of your experience is the wholeness of the universal process expressing itself as you. Just feel your oneness with the allness of the infinite. Don't question. Just think of yourself for a moment as being a central point of light. You are a point of light in the infinite light of God. You are an expression of love in the limitless love of the infinite. You are an experience of wholeness and health and activity of the allness of healing life. You are a flow of substance within the all-sufficiency of infinite supply. Thinking in terms of what lies before you, the journey ahead, the relationships you still have to meet when you leave here, the home you go to, the work you will be involved in tomorrow, physical challenges you might be facing. In every case, remember, you are the allness of God. The allness of God is present, and the allness of God is present because you are present. You are always and in all ways and eachness within the allness of God. Let us breathe into that truth for a moment. And if it resonates with you, let's affirm together, I am one with the consciousness of God's perfect life in me. Together, I am one with the consciousness of God's perfect life in me. God is, I am. Think it, pray it, live it. Show up and shine, my friends. Can I get a yes? Yes. Amen. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ron, for the invitational call to the power of yes. Great. Well, now's the time to give of our unlimited abundance and open hearts. As you prepare to place your tithe or consistent giving card in the offering bag or give online as you join us via YouTube, here's some prosperity wisdom from the In the Flow of Life by Eric Butterworth. If we open our mind in an enthusiastic desire to give, ideas, plans, and forms will come easily and flow freely. All that's required is that we keep in the flow, keep open in mind and heart by positive thoughts and creative faith, and keep moving in the direction of our dreams. Let's now affirm our offering blessing together. Divine love of I am blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am so grateful.
Thing. Make one man weep, make another man sing. Change a hawk to a little white dove. More than a feeling, that's the power of love. Tougher than diamonds, whips like cream. Stronger and harder than someone's dreams. Make a bad one good, make a wrong one right. Power of love will keep you home at night.
You don't need money, don't take fame. Don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes. Might just save your life. That's the power of love. Power of love.
It might make you sad. Next time you feel it, it might make you mad. You'll be glad, baby, when you found the power of love will make the world go round.
You don't need money, don't take fame. Don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. They say that all in love is fair. Yeah, but you don't care. But you know what to do when it gets hold of you. And with a little help from above, you feel the power of love. You feel the power of love. Hey, can you feel it? You don't need money, don't take fame. Don't need no credit card to ride this train. Tougher than diamonds and stronger than steel. You won't feel nothing till you feel the feel the power of love. That's power. That's the power of love. Feel the power. You feel the power of love. You feel the power. You feel the power of love. Power of love. Power of love. Power of love.
Wonderful. Love the power of love. That's powerless. Well, we are about ready to stand and sing in our children. You want to rise now? There, see them coming.
So today they learned about how to write their own affirmations. So they're going to be reading ones that they wrote for themselves. Okay? But we'll start out with yours.
Before I read my affirmation, I'd like to say this is one of the best churches in the whole world. I enjoy being, feeling, and thinking positive.
I feel proud of myself, grow and learn. I can become a teacher or be a music teacher.
I am full of ideas.
I am on a good path to grow up to be a racer when I grow up, or be a mechanic.
We've got some wonderful big dreams, so let's stand and bless our amazing kids. Together, you are the light of the world. Live as the light.
Have a beautiful, blessed day, and say yes to what's within.
Shortened version? For what? Which? Yeah. Right. I can't do that. I didn't even notice. Thanks.